For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Well, some people are already taking issue with the fact that they will be inconvenienced in many ways, and including the closure of, or the temporary closure of the island's two airports on Saturday to facilitate the arrival here of the Nigerian president. Talking about the Nigerian president, you will be hearing from him during the course of the broadcast this afternoon. Some news on the St. Lucia Fire Service, as well as a call for the adult population to practice what they preach. Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the most monitored talk show, NewsSpin, on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on the NewsSpin Facebook page as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. And every time I say the most monitored talk world, so people come to mind because that incenses them, gets them annoyed, and in some cases, or in one particular case, gets that individual, put them in a paranoid state. Anyway, the show must go on. And I'll be hearing from you at 452-2979, 452-297. WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026, 716-2026. We hope you're having yourself an enjoyable Thursday, and we're all set for an exciting and unpredictable news spin. Now, people like to accuse St. Lucians of complaining for everything. If you have a heavy downpour, people will complain. If you're going through drought, people will complain. If the United Workers' Party is in office, people will complain. If Chastney is in office, people will complain. If the SLP is at the helm of the government, people will complain. And if Philip J. Pierre is our Prime Minister, no doubt, people will complain. And so, the President of Nigeria will be visiting St. Lucia from the 28th of this month until July the 4th. And the Prime Minister has already put us on notice. He did so on Monday of this week, that there will be delays. Now, whether you believe that I'm just a rabble-rouser or I'm just trying to be negative, but this was late announcement coming from the Prime Minister of this country. It appears not to be well coordinated, in particular when he just says that there will be delays, and he was not so specific in spelling out the delays, and then days later you come across a press release from the St. Lucia Air and Seaports Authority saying that there will be the temporary closure of the island's two airports, Yonora International Airport as well as the George Charles Airport. Now, we are accustomed of the delays on our roads, the traffic, vehicular congestion. People are really used to that right now, with the fact that we have not been able to do the necessary expansions on our road network, particularly in the north of the island. A project that was supposed to have been on the verge of being completed now has been put on hold. First, we were told by the infrastructure minister that it will be reviewed over a 6-month period and then a decision will be made. About 3 years later, we are yet to receive an update from the infrastructure minister. But people are saying that you knew all that with regard to the visit by the president, and at the last minute, you're informing us to expect that there will be delays. And sometimes you wonder whether those things cannot be prevented. Why not ask him to reschedule whatever time that he'll be arriving in St. Lucia? It's a case of putting the president of Nigeria first or putting the people of St. Lucia first. I don't know, but I'm just asking the question. And it's my right to take on a position that I believe, after giving it great thought, I believe is warranted, is a genuine concern that I have with regard to how the government communicates with the people of St. Lucia. When you have a record number of PR people sitting in the office of the Prime Minister, and in most cases doing absolutely nothing. I cannot think of anything that those people, many of them in the office, they're being paid to be in the office of the Prime Minister, that they are so busy and scurrying all over the place looking for information and to genuinely inform the people of this country on issues that will impact them. I don't understand. I cannot fathom that there's so much work to do in the office of the Prime Minister when it comes to informing the people of St. Lucia, because this is not manifested in the number of press releases that we receive and the two-way communication between the PR people in the office of the Prime Minister and reporters and talk show hosts, etc. I just don't get it. But anyway, they are being paid to perform a particular job. Let us hear from, if in case you missed it, from the island's Prime Minister on Monday of this week, informing the people of St. Lucia via the reporters who attended the pre-cabinet press briefing that there will be delays, and he was apologizing in advance.
The President of Nigeria is visiting St. Lucia on an official visit. I just want you to inform the public that there are going to be delays, in traffic on the days that the president is commuting. These delays we want to tell you that we're very sorry. We apologize for the delays that will cause because of security arrangements that are mandated because of the level of the visit. The protocol and security arrangements are things that St. Lucia has no choice but to follow them. So I want to apologize before to the public for the delays. It's only going to be for a short time because we have to afford the President of Nigeria all the protocol and security arrangements as demanded by international protocol. Just wanted to tell the public that and say that we're very sorry for the inconvenience, but it's going to happen on the days that the President is moving from point to point. The Ministry of External Affairs will give you a full breakdown as to the times that the President is moving. In fact, I think there are some public service announcements that will be out. So it's important that the public knows and there are no surprises because there will be delays for the President of Nigeria.
The island's Prime Minister. So the Ministry of External Affairs will inform us. We had to get any kind of formal statement from the Ministry of External Affairs. He says there will be public service announcements. I've not heard any public service announcement pertaining to the visit of the Nigerian president. I don't know if those public service announcements are being aired on TN or other television stations and radio stations, but I have not heard any thus far. Remember, the president's visit starts on Saturday, and today is Thursday, the 20th. He'll be here on the 28th. So the St. Lucia Air and Seaports Authority has announced temporary closures at both of the island's airports, that is on Saturday, to facilitate the official arrival of the Nigerian President Bola Tinubu. The closure is part of the heightened security measures associated with the high-level diplomatic visit to St. Lucia. And according to SLASPA, George F. Charles Airport in Castries will be closed from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., while the Uranora International Airport in V4 will shut down operations from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. So in the case of the Uranora, the George Charles Airport will be closed from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Uranora will be closed from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. on that day. These scheduled suspensions are aimed at ensuring the safety and security of the visiting delegation in keeping with international protocol. And the SLASPA is urging all travelers with flights scheduled around those times to contact airlines immediately to confirm any changes to their itineraries. The temporary closures are expected to affect incoming and outgoing flights, potentially leading to delays, rescheduled departures, or last-minute adjustments by airlines, while the closures are limited to 2 hours at each airport. Passengers are advised to allow for flexibility in their travel plans. Somebody was taking issue with the delay is Mr. Jimmy Haynes, and he has a commentary which I will air right now.
This government's poor planning and lack of foresight never ceases to amaze me. Just when you think things can't get any worse, SLASPA drops this bombshell announcement that both of our airports will be temporarily closed on Saturday, June 28th, right smack in the middle of peak hours. Uranora International Airport will shut from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., the busiest time when most international flights arrive, bringing visitors who are the lifeblood of our economy. George F.L. Charles Airport will close from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., affecting regional and domestic travel. Are they serious? Closing our airports during the busiest travel times? It's like they're deliberately trying to sabotage tourism and inconvenience everyone. Now here's the kicker. Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre publicly announced on June 23rd, and I remember that because that's my birthday, 2 full days before SLASPA's June 25th statement, that Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu would be visiting from June 28th to July the 4th. The Prime Minister even apologized in advance for anticipated traffic disruptions island-wide, traffic disruptions island-wide during this period and emphasized the importance of strengthening diplomatic ties. But he didn't announce that there would also be interruptions at our airports, both of them during peak hours. So the information was out there. The public knew who was coming and roughly when. Yet despite this, SLASPA waited until June 25th to announce the airport closures and shockingly scheduled them right in the middle of peak travel hours on the very first day of the visit. This guarantees maximum disruption for travelers, airlines, and businesses. It raises serious questions about coordination and planning within government agencies. If the Prime Minister could publicly share the visitor's identity on June 23rd, why did SLASPA delay the announcement and still fail to schedule closures at less disruptive times? Why wasn't the public informed earlier to better prepare? And why pick the absolute worst hours for these closures? Knowing who the visitor is and having that information days in advance only highlights the government's poor communication and lack of foresight. This was an opportunity to show respect both to our international guests and to the thousands of travelers who depend on these airports daily. Instead, we get chaos, confusion, and inconvenience. Typical of this government. Couldn't they have scheduled this closure at a less disruptive time? Maybe late at night or early morning when fewer flights operate? Or at least staggered the closures so one airport remains functional? But no, it's like they don't care about the chaos this will cause for travelers trying to get in and out of our country, or the knock-on effects on connecting flights and local businesses. And if you think that's bad, the mess doesn't stop there. Just last month, truckers at Port Castries went on strike, fed up with the chronic delays, congestion, and poor management that have become the norm. These hard-working drivers spend hours, sometimes over 12, waiting in line to pick up containers, only to be slapped with overtime fees and ticketed by police for parking on public roads because there's no designated queuing area. Their strike paralyzed the port and traffic in Castries, exposing how badly SLASPA has bungled port operations despite repeated protests and warnings. And what did the government do? They made some half-hearted promises and minor adjustments after the protest, but the root problems remain. The truckers even threatened to boycott Carnival because of the ongoing logistical nightmare, a blow that could have devastated one of our biggest cultural and economic events. And on top of that, there's the infamous Global Ports Handling Deal, Ports Holding, I think they call them, deal, GPH, a 30 to 40-year handover of our cruise ports to a foreign company. And this steal, GPH steal, has been widely condemned as a massive loss for St. Lucia. The government has sacrificed financial sovereignty and job opportunities while GPH rakes in the profits. Yes, they rake in the profits. Worse still, the shelving of the Viewfort Homeport project means lost jobs and economic growth for the south of the island. It's a raw deal for ordinary St. Lucians who see their country's assets handed away with little benefit in return. This government's track record on managing our ports and airports is abysmal. The long-delayed Huronora Airport redevelopment project is still stuck in limbo while other Caribbean islands move ahead with modern facilities. The recent sick-out by ground handling staff at Huronora only added to the chaos, causing flight cancellations and delays that the government still hasn't properly addressed. While it's true that Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre publicly announced President Tinubu's visit on June 23rd, 2 days before SLASPA's airport closure statement, SLASPA's decision to refer only to a presidential state visit without naming the president or referencing the Prime Minister's announcement reflects a troubling lack of coordination. Many travelers and businesses rely on SLASPA's communications as their primary source of information. By not explicitly linking the closure to President Tinubu's visit, SLASPA left the public guessing and added unnecessary confusion to an already disruptive situation. This disconnect between government agencies underscores the urgent need for better communication and planning to avoid inconveniencing the public and damaging our tourism-dependent economy. Our tourism sector is fragile. It's already on the decline, and it depends heavily on smooth airport and port operations. Yet here we are, watching them throw a wrench into the works with no clear plan to mitigate the damage. It's no wonder visitors and locals alike are frustrated and losing confidence. I'm calling on SLASPA and this government to get their act together. Reschedule these airport closures to avoid peak times. Be upfront with who's visiting and when. And finish the airport upgrades, fix the port congestion and the logistical mess once and for all. And rethink steals like GPH that sell out our future. St. Lucia deserves leadership that values our economy, respects our time, and communicates honestly. Until then, I'll keep shaking my head at how low the bar keeps on going in St. Lucia.
Social commentator Mr. Jimmy Haynes commenting on the planned temporary closure of the island's two airports to facilitate the arrival of the Nigerian president. So talking about this Nigerian president, let's hear from him, because it was just on the 12th of this month that he issued a statement. He made an address in which he said there are no plans to make his country a one-party state.
I've never attempted to alter any political party registration with INEC. Equally, my dear friends and colleagues, we cannot blame anybody seeking to bail out of a sinking ship, even without a life jacket. Look at my political history. I will be the last person to advocate such a scheme. In year 2003, when the then governing party tried to sweep the nation clean of political opposition through plot and manipulation, I was the last progressive governor standing in my region. In their numbers, they boasted. In all their numbers and the false grandeur, they boasted of ruling, not only governing Nigeria, for the next half century or more. Where are they now? Yet I stood alone. My allies had been induced into defeat. My adversary held all the cards that mortal man could carry. Even with all of that, they could not control my destiny and could not control our national destiny, because fate is written from the above.
Right, that's our good friend, the president of Nigeria, Tinubu. That's his name? Anyway, he will be arriving here come Saturday, and we will be inconvenienced. Let's take a call right 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. I have a WhatsApp message, and it reads, St. Jude's Hospital It says that they are buying medical equipment without specification. Is it true the biomedical engineer working? Okay, is it true they never contracted local vendors to buy medical equipment for St. Jude? Asking a host of questions. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message to go through. After listening to that speech of the arrival of the Nigerian president, I'd love for it to rain heavily so they or the president could experience the quality of our airport. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp. Okay, we have a call. Let's see. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good
Hello?
afternoon. Yes, good afternoon to you.
This is Judy Cherry.
Yes.
Yeah, hi, this is Judy Cherry, and I would like to make a statement concerning the issue I had yesterday, the broadcast that went out yesterday.
That's the story on DBS pertaining to your home in Plateau Babonneau, right?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
yes, it is.
Yes, go ahead.
I would like to say that the United Workers' Party has absolutely nothing to do with me being in St. Lucia and airing my problem. This is my personal issue. The United Workers' Party did not, no member of the United Workers' Party brought me to St. Lucia. I came on my own. And it is time I need this problem addressed. And the other thing I want to say, that the representative for the area is not the representative for one, she is the representative for all, everyone. Okay? This is all I have to say on this. Thank you very much.
Yes, but let me just ask you, what is the nature of your situation?
It's the water, it's a drainage that was done on my property. Number one, without my consent. No one contacted me when they were doing this drain. And to top it all, Timothy, they did not complete whatever the drain. They left it there, and the water is now entering my son's apartment because I have a top floor and a bottom floor. The bottom floor it has water in it, as it was said, and it's not in a living condition. And like I said yesterday, it's a human being living there, not an animal. And all I was asking, because I was in communication with the minister for over a year, and she said that she would take care of it. She came in person to look at the property because she don't live too far from me. She came in person. She took a look at it and said, I will take care of it. On May 7th, 2024, she said, when I corresponded, we had the correspondence. So when I spoke with her, she said it will be done before the hurricane season of 2024. We're now 2025. The hurricane season has started, and there's been no communication, nothing whatsoever. Okay, this is what I'm being faced with there.
All right, well, we hope the MP and the other authorities will deal with that particular issue once and for all, ma'am.
I hope so too. And like I will say again, she is not just a representative for some. She is the rep for Babonneau constituency and the rep for all, not just for one. Thank you very much, Mr. Poleon.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for calling. 452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. Somebody says that this lady needs a lawyer. Simple. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says there via WhatsApp, this message was meant for yesterday, but for some I did not press send. However, incidentally, I see you had news relating to a road safety campaign last night. Nonetheless, my message is, so much carnage on our roads. I remember there was, if correct, an Italian consultancy company in St. Lucia regarding road safety. Are they still here? Has any report come out on that? And was that effective? Because as I can see, nothing had changed. On the contrary, the situation has only worsened. Turn my attention now to you, Amanda. Let's find out what is happening in the chat room. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Tim. Good afternoon, NewsSpinners. Tim, a few comments from the chat room, and NewsSpinner says, St. Lucians, why are you so lenient with this administration? The Nigerians are coming to muzzle you even further. You won't be able to. Another commentary says, why are we making the visit of the Nigerian president an issue? A NewsSpinner says here, as far as I can recall, not even when the prince visited this country that we had to close down our airports. I suspect that this will be a first, but I stand corrected. Another commentary reads, can you imagine if it was Chasney who did that? The level of hypocrisy in this country. Someone says they're closing your airports. Tim, have you ever heard a country closing their airports for the President of the United States? Another commentary reads, same here, because I have also received government officials from other countries on behalf of the government of St. Lucia, and the protocols were simply officials came from the airline. They were welcomed by government officials and was escorted right into waiting vehicles at the emergency gates of VG airports, and we drove out with the police escorts and headed to their destination without issues. Not even the taxi drivers at the airport knew what happened. A NewsSpinner says here, what about passengers with connecting flights on Saturday? Who will pay for these inconveniences? Will flights be earlier or later, as Uranora International Airport will be closed during the peak period? The president is arriving on his private flight. Why can't he land in the morning or outside the peak period? Another commentary reads, the country is losing money. Wow. Someone says their taxpayers will pay for the delay and cancellations of flights. A NewsSpinner says there at this point, there is no point complaining about anything this government does, because nothing and no one can stop them. And there is still a large portion of society that sees nothing wrong with anything they do. Another commentary reads, Jimmy Haynes, I am in full agreement with your concerns. This is the busiest time for travelers coming into our country. This government is disorganized in everything they do. This really cannot continue. It is just chaos after chaos. A NewsSpinner says Air Nigeria has been under a travel advisory by the United States Department since 2023. Let that sink in with everything else going on currently. Another commentary reads, I have never heard such madness in my life. Both airports will be closing around the same time. So if there is an emergency and somebody needs to get out of the country right away, what will happen to this person? Lord, put a hand on St. Lucia. And a NewsSpinner says here, to be honest, this is much ado about nothing. If the president of Nigeria came during prime time or peak time, there would still be major travel problems. So really, St. Lucians should choose their battles more carefully. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much. And in the chat room also saw somebody asking whether the VG Beach will be closed during the period that the George F.L. Charles Airport will not be in operation. That is between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. on Saturday. 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Again, 716-2026. And let us see if we have a WhatsApp message. It reads, Tim, what is the overall cost implications for the taxpayers of the country? We are talking about the gross inconveniences to the St. Lucian public, closing airports. What is the benefit of his visit? And what value will he be adding to the St. Lucian economy? Any diplomatic relations? That was a WhatsApp message. Let's see if we can get some more of your WhatsApp messages. Let's see in the meantime if you have a call on the landline. But in the meantime, a WhatsApp message. Tim, they're closing the airports for African. So the Nigerian is a colonialist now. Tim, they will close the VG stretch as well. And let's see if we have another WhatsApp message to go through. Somebody says that, Tim, I live at Rock Hall and a contractor is deliberately using his backhoe roll on that road. Tim, just now we cannot drive up past that Rock Hall school gap. Where is the road authorities? And let's see if we have some more of your messages. Somebody says there via WhatsApp, good afternoon, Tim. What is wrong with the Royal St. Lucia Police Force? Can you imagine the Marigot police put no parking signs on the taxi stand by the bay saying, oh, how they have not paid? How will you expect the drivers to survive? Okay. Let's see if we have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes,
Good
sir.
afternoon, Amanda. How are you guys doing?
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon, caller. I'm fine.
I am okay.
All right. Tim, it is madness in this country, you know. Tim, we have become a laughing stock, you know. Tim, I listened to the Prime Minister. What's the purpose of that visit from the Nigerian Prime Minister?
One, he says, is an official visit, and then the other days will be personal business, his vacation, and so on. But he don't.
More
He
like
don't go.
vacation.
He did not go into the specifics.
Precisely. So the St. Lucian public has to be inconvenienced because of the man's vacation. And the other thing is, why do we need to close the airport, Tim? I find that one strange. What is the purpose of closing the airport at this time? Doesn't the Prime Minister, well, he doesn't know that there are airports with 2 levels, so he might not know that people have connecting flights in other countries too. So who's paying for that, Tim? Tim, that's whoever is taking those decisions. I don't know, Tim. Something is wrong with our country, and I keep telling you, we always blame the politician, but Tim, I have continuously been mentioning, Tim, I blame our civil servants, Tim. Tim, we have too many enablers, Tim. You see, the mere fact that somebody can hand you, and this is nothing that I have seen. I'm just saying, if someone can just pay you, Tim, to do whatever they want and you follow it, or just because you're a follower, you just keep doing whatever the person asks you to do, you don't stop and question, why are we doing this? Is that really necessary? Is there a different way of doing this thing? And how about the people that you guys represent? Our civil servants, you guys forget who pays you. Now, the young lady that called her about her house, Tim, you realize the lady had to say that no opposition didn't bring her in St. Lucia. I'm pretty sure the reason why she had to call you to say that is because she was attacked already. You see, this is what is happening when you have rogue politicians running countries, Tim. They turn the people against themselves. If the lady built a home and she's been affected by a drain, you mean to tell me people already attacking the lady?
Not only by a drain, according to the lady in question, the drain was constructed by the authorities, by the government of St. Lucia, maybe I'm saying through the parliamentary representative for Babino. And she's impacted by this.
And Tim, I don't see any reason why one should be attacking the lady, because we have to look at the situation she's in. She worked to build a house. She has a home. Shouldn't the house be protected under the Constitution, Tim? The government ought to protect the people and the property. You cannot tell me if, and again, I know there was a news clip last night, but I mean, it didn't do a lot, and we never hear from the minister. I heard the reporter saying that, they made efforts in trying to reach the minister, but to no avail. However, Tim, we saw with our eyes that there was some form of construction going on there. So I'm saying if it was and I'm saying if, because I do not have any evidence for such. If this has been going on from last year, not one person, Tim, the lady didn't even have to come down to St. Lucia for that to be addressed.
Now, where is the planning department? Where is the planning department?
This is the same thing I was going to say. Where are the institutions that's supposed to safeguard these things? You see, Tim, there was a campaign. I watched a video with a campaign on road safety and all these things. Tim, it is so laughable, Tim. So laughable. So road safety, it only includes how people drive. What about the deplorable state the road is in? Isn't that a part of safety? There is precipice with no railings, or guard, I should say. Isn't that road safety? You see, Tim, we really aren't ready, and I support Rick on a lot of the things he say. I know he may want to. Some people may not want to hear him when he's saying it, but it's high time, man. We take our country back, Tim. You know, St. Lucians, we really need to take our country back. And you see, some of you guys that are working in those departments as civil servants, you guys need to wake up, man. Y'all are hurting the country just because of greed. You know, and it's high time that this nonsense stop in the country, Tim. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you so much for calling. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. 716-2026. Somebody says that, will it be a holiday in St. Lucia when and if the president arrives on the island? I don't have an answer to that question, okay? I don't even believe that's worth answering. Another person says, Tim, I wonder what the airlines have to say about that, the closure of our airports. Another comment, will the Castries to Vieux-Fort Road be closed also and the public has to use the West Coast Road? Lately, have you seen how in Nigeria, how his posters and banners are being taken down in public as a form of protest against his presidency? And we have another WhatsApp message. Why is it necessary to close both airports? Surely the visiting president only can arrive in one aircraft. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Still to come, more of your calls and your WhatsApp messages. And as somebody says, the adults, including politicians, should set the example for students. Got travel plans? Don't let paperwork slow you down. This Saturday, 20th of June, 2025, the briefcase is making applications for passports and visas faster, easier, and stress-free. From 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., head upstairs the Greens building, right next to the Vieux-Fort police station. If you are seeking to renew your passport, we've got you covered. We also assist with applications for police records, U.S. visa applications, and business registration. Come see us this Saturday or call 718-8624, 718-8624, or 713-7503, 713-7503 to book. Walk-ins are also welcomed. No lines, no hassle, just expert help right when you need it. The Briefcase. Your journey starts here.
Carnival just got crunchier with KFC. It's time to fet, win, and feast with the Carnival Crunch Box. For just $30, get a Big Crunch or Zinger sandwich, 3 crunchy strips, a dipping sauce, regular fries, a 16-ounce soda, and a biscuit. But wait, that's not all. Every Carnival Crunch Box gives you a chance to win big. Promotion runs June 1st to July 20th. KFC, it's finger-licking good. Do whatever that crunch you want.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for Tombs. Call us in Vidbouté at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, Vieux-Fort, 454-6555.
Lucilec averti ou pour point précaution durant saison cyclone Salah. Mi an ti commission qui kaywen de ou protéger la vie ou ek propriétaire ou. Kouye Lucilec avant ou trim et ben couper pied bois qui poué ligne électrique. Veillez pour ligne courant électrique avant ou monter l'échelle. Fait assurer l'échelle, scaffold et bout d'outils ou ka servi pas vini moins qui 10 pieds hors ligne courant électrique. Pas jamais servi appliance et ben outils qui ka servi courant électrique. Des wall côté qui mouillé et ben en la pli. Ça c'était en commission hors Lucilec.
Need more days of savings? MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt Super Saturday of Savings has just been extended to Sunday. Take advantage of amazing deals. This weekend, MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt are offering you amazing discounts on selected items. MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt Super Saturday of Savings has been extended to Sunday. Don't miss out on the incredible discounts and deals. See in-store, Facebook, or www.mnchomedepot.com for more details. Terms and conditions may apply. Better value for better.
Flo's prepaid customers can now unlock big bonus rewards like bonus data, prizes, and more every time you activate a 3-day prepaid plan or launcher. Activate a plan, then scratch to reveal your bonus data. Plus, get points for extra prizes. The more you activate, the more bonus data and prizes you can win. Get in on the big bonus rewards when you activate a prepaid plan. Dial *129# or visit topupflow.com to activate a plan today.
Discover the future of body imaging innovation at La Clinique de Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence, where the gold standard in MRI technology meets unparalleled medical expertise. From the intricate neural pathways of the brain to the delicate structures of the spine, and from the vital functions of the heart to detailed multi-parametric MRI of the prostate, our higher resolution images see the unseen from head to toe. Our radiation-free Signa Prime Tesla 1.5 MRI machine is assisted by artificial intelligence, enhancing its precision in creating quality images for our trained radiologists to give you more accurate readings. Our facility ensures fast access to specialist doctors, including pain management, rheumatology, and family medicine. Proudly serving as a world-class facility in the OECS, we bring international standards of healthcare within your reach. There is no longer a need to travel overseas for superior medical services. Experience the pinnacle of diagnostic precision and patient care right here in St. Lucia. Schedule your MRI with La Clinique de Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence, located in Cocoville, Rodney Bay. Call 451-6559 for your appointment. For your peace of mind, ask about our flexible financing options, including our copay system for clients with health care.
Essie, don't tell me that tire flat again. I just changed that tire.
Wait, what? You just changed that tire?
Well, I bought a used one because you didn't give me enough money.
Oh, I see. Well, you know what? Chivi's Tire Shop only carry brand new quality tires at affordable prices with free installation.
Hey, it seems you're working at Chivi's Tire Shop. How you know all that?
Come on, Brenda. The tire shop down the road from our home in the American Drywall Building.
Oh, yes. I forgot. Well, you know what, Patrick? Let's go there right now. Take your wallet. Let's go.
Chivi's Tire Shop, located at the American Drywall Building, Vic Bouteille. Call or WhatsApp 584-5986. Chivi's Tire Shop. Pay less, drive more.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
The Royal St. Lucia Police and Allied Services Credit Union Limited wishes to inform its esteemed members of its 51st Annual General Meeting on Wednesday, June 25th, 2025, 10 a.m. at the Financial Administrative Building, Point Surfing, Castries, under the theme, Enhancing Our Financial Future Together. The first 50 members to register in person will win prizes. Members joined virtually will also get a chance to win special prizes. Come discuss the business of your credit union. Please be punctual.
Thank you so much for staying with this, the world's most monitored talk show, where we entertain your calls at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air. Hello.
Yes, Tim. Good afternoon. On a lighter note.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Amanda there? Good afternoon to Amanda if she's there.
Good afternoon, caller.
Is the Prime Minister of Nigeria and JPA related? I think they have the same eyes.
The president of Nigeria, you mean?
Oh, the president. Okay. Don't you think the eyes are the same, Tim?
Well, you know
have a look at both of them.
You know what people like to say? Two John work a lot. You've heard that before?
No, but you don't have this eyes. Neither do I. You know, and that Prime Minister of Nigeria, Tim, he's a character, you know, because there was after winning the last elections, the one that he's there was an investigation because into him. You could do some research online where he said he attended the university he attended in America, the name, and there was a lot of corruption. He was brought up. He was in court in Nigeria for that, but I guess him being the head of state, but if you do some research on him, he's not the cleanest guy. I wonder why the Central Labour Party seem to be locating these guys, whether it be Juvali or they always find these guys. Anyway, team, have a good afternoon.
You too, ma'am. Thank you so much for calling. 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And let me see if I have any of... Somebody just sent me a WhatsApp message and complaining that every year the results of the CPEA are late. Well, I just made a call and somebody told me that the results will be released to the public, and that is via NTN and the Facebook page of the Ministry of Education on Monday afternoon at 2 o'clock. The CPEA results will be released on Monday of next week, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And let me see if I have a WhatsApp call. Hello, good afternoon. NewsSpin, you on the air? Hello?
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Amanda.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon, caller.
And Tim, before I say anything, I would like your listeners and viewers to like, share, and subscribe to your YouTube platform, please.
Thank you, sir,
Tim,
for promoting it. Why do you?
Yes.
Why you were compelled to say that?
I'm not compelled. I just know the importance of the algorithms and how these things work.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I appreciate
that. Tim, there seems to be a level of hostility towards the visiting African leader. I don't know much of his politics, but I think our country should forge relations to as many nations as possible. That would help us. And with regard to Africa, I would hope that the next one that would grace our shores would be the leader of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore. Now, as I understand it, the president would be traveling with a very large entourage. I think it's about 70 people. I know there would be trade people on there, cultural people, and so on. But still, we are left in the dark as to the real purpose of his visit or the composition of that entourage. So I will take a lead from the Prime Minister and I will speculate as to why he has such a large entourage with him. I don't know if you may be aware of the book written by Father Lambert St. Rose, In Turbulent Waters.
Yes.
And in that book, he used some fictional names of towns and villages. And it all has to do with cultism, obeah, and so on in our country, which he referred to as, I think, Helen Island. Now, we know that Africa is very rooted in that kind of spiritualism and culturalism. And it's had extended into the politics of Africa and even Haiti. So I am left to speculate as to whether there are any of those people making up those numbers who are accompanying the president on that trip to help the Labour Party. That is all I am doing. I am speculating. That's my contribution.
Thank you so much for sharing it with us. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Somebody says, Tim, the Minister of Sports spoke about upgrading playing fields. Banata has a good playing field. The entrance of that playing field needs to be addressed at the soonest. It's only a wooden strip leading to that playing field. Why not build a small bridge for vehicular access? People have to carry their coolers and other items on that facility. Where is the district rep? And let us see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says, hi Tim, St. Vincent and the Grenadines received their CPA results on Monday, June the 23rd, 2025. And some more of your messages to go through. But he says there, who's paying for all these flights that have to be diverted for closing the 2 airports? And some more messages to go through. And somebody's saying, why is the Ministry of Infrastructure offices closed today with some activities going on outside? But we can't conduct our business. I paid my insurance and can't register and get a sticker. What happens if the police stop me later today? I need to know. Another WhatsApp message. I don't know why the Prime Minister of St. Lucia wants to treat the Nigerian president as royalty. Not even the Nigerians want him in Nigeria. I'm to close down a space for him. Is he coming to invest? And person continues, is this something citizens for investment, or is he coming to St. Lucia? Okay, we don't want to go into that one. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says there via WhatsApp. It reads, Tim, seriously, why are we hosting the Nigerian president? Were we ever told? What is he bringing? Is it cheaper fuel imported from that country? What a farce. To close the 2 airports for an insignificant arrival that poses absolutely no threat. Uranora and VG Airport closes by 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. next day. Why not schedule the flight for that time? Nigeria is famously known for fraud and corruption. Now that makes me think. By the way, the closure of these airports will cost all airlines, concessionaires, passengers, LASPA, and even the government of St. Lucia themselves, because some airlines have cancelled their flights. Let's see if we have some more of your WhatsApp messages. And somebody says there via WhatsApp, please bear with me, just trying to open this message. It says, good day, Tim. All night last evening between Prowler and Dennery, workers on the road patching and paving the road. Is it because of the visit of the Nigerian president? We have a call. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you're on the air. Okay, we have lost the call. So we continue with your WhatsApp messages while we are awaiting your calls. Let's see there what somebody is saying via WhatsApp. Just bear with me. Okay, let's take a call on the landline. Under WhatsApp. Good afternoon, you're on the air.
Good afternoon, Timothy. This is Stephen Favre, the United Workers' Party candidate for Castries North.
Good afternoon to Mr. Favre.
Should you permit me to read a statement on behalf of the United Workers' Party?
Go ahead, sir.
The United Workers' Party, along with the people of St. Lucia, learned on 20th June 2025 of the impending visit of His Excellency Bola Tinubu, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to St. Lucia. According to an official government press release issued on 21 June 2025, the President's visit will consist of 2 components: an official visit from 28th to 29th of June 2025, and a private visit from 29th of June to the 4th of July. The government has not furnished us with details on the purpose or agenda for these engagements. On 25th June 2025, mere days ahead of the President's arrival, the St. Lucia and Seaports Authority, SLASPA, issued a notice informing the public that the Uranora International Airport will be temporarily closed to commercial traffic on 28th June from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. and George F.L. Charles Airport from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. to facilitate the arrival and associated security arrangements for the visiting delegation. The United Workers' Party expresses serious concern regarding the significant disruption this visit is expected to cause to the functioning of our airports. This disruption will undoubtedly inconvenience St. Lucia nationals, regional travelers, and our international visitors, many of whom were unaware of these closures and have made prior travel arrangements. The late notice, a lack of contingency planning, and absence of clear explanation reflect poor coordination and a disregard of the public interest. While a UWP government is strongly committed and supports the deepening of strategic ties with international partners, we reaffirm that such relationships must be anchored in shared values, including respect for transparency, good governance, and accountability. We also note with deep concern the timing of the visit, which comes ahead of the impending general elections. The United Workers' Party therefore calls on the government to provide full transparency on the nature and scope of any bilateral agreements or commitments expected to be signed or announced during this visit. The people of St. Lucia have the right to know whether any commitments will be made specifically in relation to our passports and the now besieged CIP program. Moreover, at the time when St. Lucia is under increased scrutiny by key diplomatic and multilateral partners, particularly regarding its citizenship by investment program, the government must take great care to ensure that the conduct and optics of this visit does not further erode the credibility of our nation internationally. The United Workers' Party stands firm in its commitment to diplomacy grounded in integrity and respect for democratic principles. In this and all matters, the United Workers' Party urges the government to first prioritize the interests of St. Lucians above all else. This statement ends here, and I thank you, Tim.
Thank you so much. You just heard there from the United Workers' Party candidate for Castries North in the upcoming general election, and that is Mr. Stephen Favre. We continue with your calls at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Over to you, Amanda. Let us find out what is happening in the chat room.
A few comments from earlier in the chat room, Tim. Someone says here, Nigerians are very crafty, fly, cunning, etc., etc. They are playing PJP and this administration like pacifiers. Another commentary reads, are you suggesting that the U.S. would close its airports for a prime minister to visit? I don't think anyone disagrees with security measures being implemented to accommodate the visit. What I think people are concerned about is the distance we are willing to go and the justification for it. And NewsSpin says, PJP make that make sense. Most of the African countries are on the travel ban list. The U.S. means business. Another commentary says, would Nigeria close the airport for PJP to come visit? Someone says, will the same thing happen when he is going back? Another commentary reads, typical of this prime minister to keep us in the dark. Then again, he never know anything. And NewsSpinner says, thereafter we are already getting overburdened with African dust. Now we are being inconvenienced with the president. Another commentary reads, if St. Lucians have a problem with his visit, then go demonstrate on June 30th when the president will be addressing Parliament. A commentary says, at a time when there is so much uncertainty in the airlift capacity into our country, we can ill afford this unprecedented and unnecessary disruption that this visit is about to unleash on our country. And that's it for now, Tim.
Thank you so much, Amanda. 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Again, 716-2026. We have a call on the landline. Hello, good afternoon to you. You are on the air.
Timothy, a pleasant good afternoon to you and your listeners all over the world. PW on the line, Timothy, and good afternoon to you, Amanda.
Yes, good afternoon to you, caller.
Timothy, we elect politicians, we give them the power, they accumulate lots of money, and they become the root of all evil, Timothy. I beg to ask the question, how long did the St. Lucian government knew about the state visit of the Nigerian president? Because I know it wasn't forthcoming. Many St. Lucians got to know about that state visit just this week. The government is short-sighted. They have actually informed the public much too late of this visit. Timothy, I remember that in 2014, when Matt Damon, and I cannot compare Matt Damon with the Nigerian president, but we, the executive club, were responsible for actually picking up these people when they came in. Matt Damon, and we had about 78 of his entourage. They came, and we actually, our vehicles were inspected. They went onto the airport tarmac. They parked alongside these jets, the jet that came in, and when the celebrities came out, they came into these vehicles, the luxury vehicles, Timothy, and we took them to their respective hotels. What I'm saying, there is the VIP lounge at the beginning of the airport, when you just enter the airport. This place was built to welcome head of state, to welcome celebrities, and when these planes come in, they have a right to park alongside the VIP lounge, and these head of states are welcome into the VIP lounge, and they are transported to the northern part of the island, or whether to the southern part, or whether to the western part or the eastern part of the island. Why is it, Timothy, that the airport has to be closed down? Hiranoa International Airport is a huge airport that can accommodate different aircrafts in different points on that airport. I didn't see the need for that airport to be closed down between the hours they said about 3 to about 6, or between 3 to 5. I didn't see the need for that. The government need to come to explain why we have to shut down the airport. The airport is a huge airport. We can accommodate the president, as I said, in the VIP section of the airport. He can be taken to the northern part of the island without, any problems. When it comes to security, that is not a problem. I didn't see why security should be a problem in this country. And I believe that the St. Lucia Labour Party is short-sighted, and they do not know exactly what they're about, Timothy. And I believe this government has the right to come to inform the public why they took such actions when it comes to the arrival. We cannot say, St. Lucians cannot say, Timothy, that Nigeria cannot offer St. Lucia anything. You never know whether he's here on a holiday or whether he's here on business. There are bilateral agreements to be signed. The government needs to tell us that, whether there is cultural programs to be exchanged. Nigeria is one of the most populated countries in Africa. They do have oil. I remember a few years ago, even now, Timothy, we have Nigerian medical students attending the medical universities in St. Lucia. So I would not say that we cannot, get the benefit from Nigeria. When head of states come into this country, we have to welcome them with open arms. If there are any shortcomings, we do not have to blame the Nigerian government, but the St. Lucian government. Be smart, be wise, and look for the truth. Timothy, I thank you.
All right, caller. Thank you so much for calling. This is the most monitored talk show in the world, and it is called NewsSpin. Still comes some of your calls and your WhatsApp messages. Got travel plans? Don't let paperwork slow you down. This Saturday, the briefcase is making applications for passports and visas faster, easier, and stress-free. From 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., Head upstairs the Greens building right next to the Vieux-Fort police station. If you are seeking to renew your passport, we've got you covered. We also assist with applications for police records, U.S. visa applications, and business registration. Come see us this Saturday, June the 28th, or call 718-8624, 718-8624, or 713-7503. That's 713-7503 to book. Walk-ins are welcomed. No lines, no hassle. Just expert help right when you need it. The Briefcase, your journey starts here.
Mark your calendars for July 30th and 31st. It's 2 days of sizzling savings you don't want to miss. Cashier Day is coming to Europa Hardware. Get 15% of all your favorite cashier gear. Wet and dry vacuum cleaners, powerful pressure washers, gas or electric, upholstery cleaners, and steam cleaners that make grime run for cover. Swing by Europa Hardware and score 15% discount during the Cashier Day promotion. Remember, it's July 30th and 31st. Write it down, set a reminder, tell a friend to tell a friend. Don't wait, don't miss out. Call us at 452-0763. Europa Hardware in Massad Grosley. We service what we sell.
Prepare for the hurricane season by ensuring trees and other objects on your property won't get tangled in overhead wires. Be careful. Ensure ladders and tools don't come within 10 feet of power lines. If a tree is near electrical lines, don't try to trim it yourself. Contact Lucelec at 452-2165 or 454-6617. Be smart, stay safe.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
It's in the feeling in our weak side. It's in the meaning in our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are. Cause the rhythm of life keeps pumping. Together going strong. No matter what, we keep things flowing. For we people, we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky. Celebrating. Come let your rhythm flow.
Calling all teens. This one's just for you. Get ready for the KFC Teen Socarama happening Saturday, June 28th from 12 to 6 p.m. at Serenity Park. It's a full day of teen talent on display. Junior soca and calypso artists, kiddie carnival bands, fashion, drama, games, and non-stop vibes. Come out and let's have some good, clean fun. No alcohol, just finger-licking goodness. So tell a friend, grab your crew, pull up to KFC Teen Socarama. See you there.
I in a good spirit. I drink in a good
St.
spirit.
Lucia, are you ready for the ultimate all-inclusive?
Chalet Blanc, the all-white event. Tier 1 now available at Frontline Ticketing, Eventbrite, Digital Baywalk Mall, 4 Circles Ticketing, or WhatsApp at 240-344-8629. A musical journey curated by the best local and international DJs. St. Lucia Carnival Saturday, July 19th, 1 p.m. to 8 p.m.
At Sanders Golf and Country Club, Kappa State.
Look something to talk about.
Unlimited drink, brunch buffet, top-class entertainment.
Stay tuned. This event is powered by One Golden Fox and Natalie Events.
Discover the future of body imaging innovation at La Clinique de Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence, where the gold standard in MRI technology meets unparalleled medical expertise. From the intricate neural pathways of the brain to the delicate structures of the spine, and from the vital functions of the heart to detailed multi-parametric MRI of the prostate, our higher resolution images see the unseen from head to toe. Our radiation-free Signa Prime Tesla 1.5 MRI machine is assisted by artificial intelligence, enhancing its precision in creating quality images for our trained radiologists to give you more accurate readings. Our facility ensures fast access to specialist doctors, including pain management, rheumatology, and family medicine. Proudly serving as a world-class facility in the OECS, we bring international standards of healthcare within your reach. There is no longer a need to travel overseas for superior medical services. Experience the pinnacle of diagnostic precision and patient care right here in St. Lucia. Schedule your MRI with La Clinique de Cour's Diagnostic Center of Excellence located in Cocoville, Rodney Bay. Call 451-6559 for your appointment. For your peace of mind, ask about our flexible financing options, including our co-pay system for clients with healthcare.
Looking for amazing deals on tiles? Mark your calendars. Every last Thursday of the month, the Tile Gallery is offering up to 50% off on selected tiles. Whether you are renovating your kitchen, updating your bathroom, or giving your entire home a fresh new look, now is the time to transform your space and save big. Enjoy up to 50% off on selected tiles. Don't miss this incredible opportunity to upgrade your home without breaking the bank. Visit M&C Home Depot and Sunbelt locations for more details. Terms and conditions apply.
Cricket fans, get ready for non-stop cricket action. The St. Lucia National Cricket Association Dream 11 St. Lucia Blast T10 tournament is back, bringing the fire and excitement of fast-paced cricket at the Grosse Lane Mini Stadium. It's 15 days of exciting, exhilarating cricket with electrifying T10 cricket battles from June 24th to July 8th. First match starts at 12 noon and 2:30 p.m. for second match of the day. Come see some of the island's best cricketing talent as they go head-to-head in this fast-paced format that promises to rain sixes, wickets, and nail-biting finishes. Mark your calendars. June 24th to July 8th at the Grosse Lane Mini Stadium. The St. Lucia T10 Blast, where legends are made and dreams come alive. Let the blast begin.
This is the most monitored talk show where we continue with your calls at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Again, 716-2026. We have a call on the WhatsApp platform. Good afternoon. You're on the air. Hello.
Hi, Tim.
Hi. Good afternoon to you, caller. Loud and clear.
Okay. Sorry for the breaking transmission. Tim, I was calling to add my voice to the situation on the Uranora and George Charles airports. Tim, this is very unfortunate given what is happening to the airlift of the country. We are presiding over an airlift crisis, Tim. Most recently, we've lost Virgin, we've lost TUI, we've lost Sunwing. That has resulted, Tim, in significant declines in occupancies, in the number of days that hotel workers are working, in the revenue capacity that we're getting from the industry. Tim, some hotels are presently at 12 and 15%, as low as that. I was at another hotel yesterday, spoke to the owner, and they had 0 rooms filled. And so to now disrupt the busiest day, Saturday, at the Uranora International Airport, is bound to affect the arrivals that hotels so badly crave at this point to stay afloat and to keep a limited amount of staff employed within the sector. Tim, Saturdays is one of the high arrival days. In fact, it's the busiest days for arrivals. And I am hoping that there are no complete cancellation of flights because of the closure of the airport. And I'm hoping, Tim, that the schedule is going to fit with the connecting gateways of the airlines as they seek to accommodate St. Lucia. So it's not just the St. Lucia leg. we must remember that there are other gateways, other customers waiting in other cities where these planes have got to connect to. And so, Tim, this is very disruptive to the tourism sector in a time when the UK market is down 25%, when the Canadian market is down 20%, Tim, when we see month by month, every single month overall for the arrivals in the destination, we have not had a positive month from January to April. All have recorded negative and zero declines. So it is rather unfortunate that we have now taken on a rather complicated issue, and we haven't managed the situation well. I'm all for us expanding our diplomatic reach and all for cooperation with new states. That's all well and good, but we have to manage that as much as possible. I also reflect on us hosting other high-profile world leaders. I remember we had Bill Clinton coming to St. Lucia. I remember Nelson Mandela coming to St. Lucia, and I can't remember whether there were airport closures at all. And I'm trying to figure out what is so special about the arrival of the Nigerian head of state to warrant such a disruption of your main sector that many workers of the country are depending on. This is the slow season. So hotel employees, instead of working 5 or 6 days, the number of days have been reduced significantly to 1 and 2 days, which reduces their capacity significantly to pay their bills and take care of their families. The same impact is true for taxi drivers. The same impact is true for farmers. The same impact is true for all the restaurants. I'm sure if you go to some of the restaurants tonight, you're going to see very few guests because of the low occupancy that the destination is currently enduring. So the government would like us to think that everything is going well. The Minister of Tourism goes out there and he says that these are record-breaking periods. But the minister is misleading the public as it relates to what is actually happening within the tourism sector. Tim, I want to comment very quickly on the brink of us being on the brink of a travel ban. Tim, many missteps were made by the current St. Lucia Labour Party administration. You know, there's a saying that if you are a cockroach, you should not get involved in fowl cock fights. Leave the fowls to fight, because if you are an insect and you're trying to fight with a fowl, there is only one outcome. You will be devoured. And so what is happening now, we have to ask ourselves whether there is any correlation to A, the Prime Minister's visit to Venezuela, where he met Maduro. And he was quoted as saying that St. Lucia will not be told by anyone who to keep friends with. Then as well, Tim, you would remember that St. Lucia was the last among the 5 Caribbean CIP countries to suspend applications from Russia and Belarus. Now, Grenada, Antigua, Dominica, and St. Kitts all suspended applications from Russia at the time. And there was a certain reluctance by the St. Lucia regime. When the Ukraine war in 2022 broke, all our neighbors and fellow CARICOM countries did stand in solidarity with the Americans. And St. Lucia was the last holdout. And it took the opposition to pressure the government. I remember the CIP minister saying that it is discriminatory because not all Russians support President Putin. And that was an unfortunate position for St. Lucia to take. And I'm sure that Washington has taken note of that the stance we took in a time of war when the U.S. was leading allied members of NATO and other partners around the world in a quest to find peace and stability between Ukraine.
Okay, we seem to have. Okay, we have lost the caller. You just heard there from former tourism minister, Mr. Dominic Fede. All right, let me turn my attention to the St. Lucia Fire Service, because yesterday they had an election which took place there, and that is to elect some 14 individuals. And out of that 14, an executive would have been selected, including a chairperson and other members of that executive. Ahead of this particular exercise, the outgoing chairman of the St. Lucia Fire Service Association, and that is Mr. Shane Felix, took to social media and he deemed the exercise to be unconstitutional. And among his concerns would have been the late submission of the list of individuals who were presenting themselves for election. And he said that this was unprecedented. In years gone by, you had a situation where that list would have been publicized among the officer corps, so that persons would have gotten an opportunity to know the individuals who were presenting themselves, and in some instances, even to pose certain questions to them and to verify their positions on certain issues, depending on the committee particularly that they wanted to serve. So Mr. Shane Felix was my guest last evening on Newsmaker Live, the DBS program, and he said that unfortunately he was not among the individuals who was selected to serve on that particular body. Out of today's election exercise, are you looking forward to serving on the executive of the St. Lucia Fire Service Association?
For as long as I'm a firefighter, yes.
Okay. And what will it, walk us through the process, what will it take, and how soon will you know whether you are selected?
Well, according to today's election, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. And
according to the outcome?
Yes.
Okay.
And that was the aim, to ensure that Shane Felix is not serving on this executive. What that does is everything I've said before, give the chief fire officer full control of everything. Already I've explained what happens with promotion and people are being intimidated and not wanting to speak. To have one association within that sphere to say we are going to champion otherwise and make sure that there is a voice in the wilderness, that is what is being removed. So there's nobody in the fire service who's going to say anything about anything. And that is what today's election was about. And so the chief fire officer, in all his arrogance, would continue with that process despite whatever was being said about it, despite the support for it, despite the protests from firefighters to say we're not going out there to vote and so on. He would continue with it because he knew who was on that list. And firefighters, when the list was finally put out, we were surprised. Because we know what's happening in the department. We may not speak out like Shane Felix, but we know everybody who is affiliated and everybody who would sacrifice anything to ensure that they move forward.
Outgoing chairman of the St. Lucia Fire Service Association, Mr. Shane Felix. He was my guest on last evening's Newsmaker Live program on DBS television. The question of the day, the NewsSpin question of the day, the temporary closure of St. Lucia's 2 airports on Saturday to facilitate one president. And some people have been commenting. In a moment, we'll have the NewsSpin news of the day. Let's take our final call via WhatsApp. Hello, good afternoon. This is NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Tim, it would seem that your audience is hungry for information regarding your African visitor.
Yes, they're acquiring. They want answers from the relevant authorities, including the Prime Minister.
Okay, well, are you aware, for example, that might be an irrelevant detail, but are you aware that in the middle of all of that is Mr. Chiguri?
He's in the middle of all that. Tell me.
I'm trying to find a thing I have called the African. Anyway, something, the African newspaper, African Times.
Mm-hmm.
I had it there, but I seem to have a problem with it. And he's very much part of it. He's arranging the visits.
He's part of the delegation.
He He is arranging the visit.
Ah, okay.
You better tell your people who Chaguri is, Tim. Or you want me to do that for
Yes,
them?
go right ahead, Rick.
Well, this very short article was written in 2010 by a girl called Robin Urovic. In July 2004, police lay in wait at an airfield in the far northeastern corner of Nigeria. Gilbert Chaguri, a Lebanese businessman and one-time advisor to the late Sani Abacha, was set to touch down in his private jet. Nuhu Ribadu, then the country's top anti-corruption prosecutor, says Chaguri was a kingpin in the corruption that defined Abacha's regime. You couldn't investigate corruption without looking at Chaguri, Ribadu tells me, the reporter, in a recent interview in California. 6 years after Abacha's death, Ribadu's officers stood ready to take Chaguri down. Ribadu says that Chaguri made it possible for Abacha to steal billions of dollars and line his own pockets in the process. The prosecutor says he indicted Chaguri and ordered his arrest for relatively minor violations related to Chaguri's businesses so that he could later bring additional charges for his activities in the Abacha era. But no sooner had Chaguri's plane hit the ground than it took off again. Ribadu says it's likely that an airport official tipped him off and Ribadu did catch slipped away. Chaguri was among the last of the all-powerful middlemen who served the heads of oil-rich African states, says Philippe Bassett, longtime editor of Africa Energy Intelligence, one of the series of influential energy industry newsletters. He, Chaguri, was the gatekeeper to Abacha's presidency. In many African countries, just a couple more lines, Tim. In many African countries, a Western entrepreneur might hand over money to a fixer or middleman who would then pass it on to a political leader in exchange for support for business venture. In Nigeria, Bassett explains, Chaguri was just such a figure in the mid-1990s when Abacha ruled the country and held the key to much of the country's oil wealth. Today, Chaguri is a diplomat representing the tiny island of St. Lucia. He's also a friend of former President Clinton. You may remember that he brought Clinton here.
Yes.
And when Nicole McDonald persistently asked Maria Michelle at a press conference who was footing the bill, because I hear people asking who's footing the bill, over and over she asked him, and we got the famous line.
Irrelevant detail.
Irrelevant details, the famous phrase. So, today, Chaguri is a diplomat representing a tiny nation of St. Lucia. He's also a friend of former President Clinton and a generous philanthropist who, since the Abacha years, has used his money to establish respectability. He appeared near the top of the Clinton Foundation donors list in 2008 as a $1 million to $5 million U.S. contributor, according to foundation documents. Chaguri's contribution to the Louvre, Paris, some years back was enough for the museum to name a gallery for him and his wife. Unlike the former president, Chaguri conducts his affairs largely out of public view. He rarely takes on reporters. So he is now bringing the African politician with an intention to open business, to invest in St. Lucia. Okay, so in fact, I just put my hand on it, Tim, if you don't mind. Hello?
Yes, go ahead, Rick.
The heading of the article is Chaguri shifts Tinubu's attention to Caribbean investment. President Tinubu set for warm welcome in St. Lucia, courtesy of his ally, Gilbert Chaguri. Should I read that again? President Tinubu set for warm welcome to St. Lucia, courtesy of his ally, Gilbert Chaguri, even as he faces backlash at home over Benue killings. You get that?
Absolutely.
Did you hear me?
Yes, I heard you.
That shock you or what?
I mean, because I know what is happening in Nigeria and how the president is unpopular to a certain extent, and there are issues with regard to the democratic process in Nigeria and matters relating to human rights, and also corruption.
You should be a diplomat, man. I mean, these are nice words. If you had written that, we'd be in trouble. President Tinubu set for warm welcome. Warm welcome. I suppose they mean the weather. Set for warm welcome in St. Lucia, courtesy of his ally, Gilbert Chaguri, even as he faces backlash at home over Benue killings. I would have thought our Prime Minister or Governor General would have been in that headline welcoming him. I know. But it seems it's Chaguri who was welcoming him in St. Lucia. You know, of course, we also gave Chaguri the Holy Cross.
Yes, we did.
Sorry, not Holy Cross.
Some honor, some major national honor. The St. Lucia Cross. St. Lucia Cross, yeah.
Oh, Lord. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. So definitely what Rick is proving to us there, that, you know, politicians, especially in this case the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, told us basically what he wanted to tell us. And you realize that he did not have much to say. He was not effusive in terms of giving us further information with regard to the nature of the visit of President Tinubu, what was in it for St. Lucia, and to thoroughly explain, you know, how we could benefit from that visit. What he said amounted to just a few words, about maybe a minute or two, considering the sacrifices that we, the people of St. Lucia, should have to make to accommodate and to facilitate that visit. Finally, from us, we have our NewsSpin News of the Day. And the NewsSpin News of the Day reads, just 3 years to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, top scientists warn. Just 3 years to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, top scientists warn. That's your NewsSpin News of the Day. That's a broadcast as well. Thank you so much for watching and listening to the world's most monitored talk show. We'll be back, God willing, tomorrow afternoon at 12:30 with the final broadcast for this week. Goodbye.